Thanks for joining me for the third and final part of this series where I show you how to use mindfulness to transform your relationship with stress using what I call the stress surfing technique. If you haven't watched part 1 and 2 yet, you'll want to do that first before watching the rest of this video. Now at this point, you've had some practice identifying the physical sensations, thoughts, and other mental activity that tell you that you're feeling stress. And you've tried just observing these sensations with acceptance and curiosity without reacting to them or trying to change them in any way. Now I want to show you the third step in the stress surfing technique, which is seeing the transient nature of these experiences. But before I get into how you do it, I want to explain why this is helpful. Tolerating and actually being open to and accepting intensely uncomfortable sensations is hard. It can be psychologically exhausting, especially when you're new to this. And the reason is that you're restraining your habitual tendency to avoid or act out these sensations. And that takes a lot of willpower and discipline, which you've only got a finite supply of. Now this kind of mindful, non-reactive observation is actually pretty subtle. In fact, you know you're doing it right when it stops feeling like an act of will. When allowing all these uncomfortable sensations to be present feels natural, like it's no big deal. But getting there is a process, so don't beat yourself up if you don't experience it this way at first. The most direct route to this kind of effortless mindfulness of the unpleasant is to notice a very special and actually quite profound quality that all sensations, thoughts, emotions, and so on possess. And this is the quality of impermanence. No matter how awful or uncomfortable the sensation, it doesn't actually last for very long. And seeing this for yourself can be a tremendous relief. Now, you might be thinking, Nick, buddy, everybody knows these things don't last forever. That's obvious. Why are you making such a big deal out of this? And you may think you know this on an intellectual level, but it's another thing entirely to experience it in the moment. When you're in the middle of a storm of stressful feelings, a hair's breadth from totally freaking out, I bet the stress feels like it's gonna last forever, unless you do something quick to make it go away. And that's the whole problem. That's the reason that we avoid, suppress, make excuses, blame others, and engage in all the other unskillful reactions to stress. It's to make these unpleasant feelings go away. But if you do the opposite, if you just allow the uncomfortableness to be present and don't act on it, these sensations go away all on their own anyway, and usually quite quickly. So there's actually no need to do anything with them. And this is the magic of impermanence. And if you can just remember that the twisting, nauseous feeling in your gut's only going to last for a few seconds if you just allow it to be, that's hugely motivating. It makes it so much easier to accept and be curious about these sensations. Of course, these sensations will most likely come back again and again until you address the underlying cause of the stress. And that's to be expected. Just keep applying the stress surfing technique as often as you need to stay cool and figure out what your next step is. But this only works if you, honest to goodness, don't resist or push away the sensations associated with the stress. Now, as you practice this stuff, you'll probably get to a point where you're sure that you're not pushing this stuff away. You feel that you're letting it all in, you're accepting it, but the stress just keeps building in intensity, and it seems like it's got no intention of showing you its transient nature. So what's going on? Well, this is when you need to go a little deeper to discover the more subtle forms of resistance you may have to the stress. And the first place to look is your body. See if you're holding any tension in your body. If you are, that tension's usually a good indicator that you're still resisting the stress to some degree. And if you notice this kind of tension, allow it to relax if you can and open more fully to accepting all the sensations associated with the stress. See if you can treat them the same way that you treat a totally neutral sensation, like, say, the feeling of pressure on your hand when you turn a doorknob or something like that. And the more fully mindful you are of the transient nature of these sensations, the less of a big deal they become, and the easier it'll be for you to remember this the next time you find yourself in a stressful situation. And if you keep doing this consistently, your relationship with stress will begin to transform. It'll change from something that you identify with, my stress or I am stressed, to just a bunch of sensations, thoughts, and other mental activity that you can observe. Stress is present, and you'll be able to keep more of a cool head. Now, the sensations, mental activity, and so on associated with the stress will become useful information for your decisions rather than a trigger for unskillful habitual action. In other words, you'll be stress surfing. Now, I know what I'm asking you to do won't always be easy. It takes practice. And just like with actually learning to surf ocean waves, you should expect to fall down a lot while you're learning. That's totally normal and nothing to beat yourself up about. Try to take the perspective that you need to fall at least 100 times before you can stand up on your board and stay on it long enough to surf your stress. So each time you fall, you're getting closer to your goal. And if you're really serious about this and you want to turbocharge your ability to go stress surfing, then the best thing you can do is set aside some time each day to meditate. Even 15 minutes of daily mindfulness meditation will really help you learn to accept and be curious about the sensations, thoughts, and so on that you'll encounter while in a stressful situation. Think of it like going on training runs so you can eventually do that marathon. Each run gets you in better and better shape, and meditation works the same way. It lets you practice mindful observation on easier things and allows you to very efficiently develop enough skill so you can apply it to situations like I've been talking about here. So that pretty much wraps up this video and this series. What I want you to do is prove to yourself that the sensations associated with stress really are impermanent. And to do this, I want you to time how long they last when you don't do anything to mess with them. So the next time you recognize that you're stressed, do what I've shown you in these 3 videos and mindfully observe the physical sensations associated with the stress. And then pick a sensation you find easiest to notice and use your watch to time how long it lasts when you observe it non-reactively. I bet you'll be surprised by what you find. Go ahead and share what you discover by posting a comment below this video. Also, if you know someone who could use some de-stressing in their life, send them an email with a link to this video and pass it along. It could really help them out. I'm Grabovac, and thanks for watching.